Hi, my name is Michael Weintrob. I've been a photographer for over 20 years with my main focus on musicians. In 2015, after many attempts at finding a major publisher, I decided to go the self-publishing route. In October of that year, we ran a successful campaign on Indiegogo to crowdfund my very first book called INSTRUMENTHEAD. And I created my own publishing imprint called Magnet Bound Press. The book was released in 2017, and we went on to win Most Outstanding Design at the Independent Book Awards that year. Since its release, I've been traveling around the US showcasing my INSTRUMENTHEAD work and creating immersive music and art experiences. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many incredible people on the road. One of the reoccurring conversations I have with folks when they come to see my work or when they flip through the book is that they wish they could see the faces behind the instruments, and I can totally see why. Well, fortunately, we created many other types of photographs during these sessions. My goal has always been to capture the artist's own personal look and style. My approach to this work is very straightforward. I ask them, how are we going to tell your story? What is it about you that makes you special? This is INSTRUMENTHEAD Revealed, a deeper, more personal behind-the-scenes look at the wider scope of this project. I'm asking for your support again to help us continue our journey of art, music, and education. I want to give back to the musical community, and the New Orleans Musicians Clinic is a charity that I deeply respect. They help musicians so much by sustaining their mind, body, and spirit. $3 of every book sold will go to this amazing organization.
Amen.
Michael Weintrob, look at you.
How are you?
Man, do you realize how awesome you are, Michael, at what you do? Like, this is like a big moment for me, man. Like, I've looked at your art, at your photos for many years, man.
That's so cool. I had no idea.
It's unbelievable. How you doing, Michael? Where are you coming to us from?
What's that?
Where are you coming to us from?
East Nashville, from my studio.
Lovely, lovely. Look,
Just built this whole print hanging system. Look at this.
Look at that. Look at that.
Keep all the prints.
So for the audio audience, it looks like a vinyl shop, but with priceless, beautiful prints.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. But yeah, I mean, one of the best music photographers, I think, probably, ever, honestly. And we're huge fans. And of course, your new book, INSTRUMENTHEAD Revealed, Michael, it's coming up soon. It's a splendid coffee table book, the companion hit to INSTRUMENTHEAD from 2017. So yeah, man. Yeah, looking forward to it. Look at that. So you're pointing, how many pages is that? What a beautiful book.
Well, this is 2 books. This is you can get a box set. This is the original book.
Yeah.
INSTRUMENTHEAD book. You've seen this book before,
yes.
right?
Yes, I have.
So, you can see photographs of the musicians with their instruments covering their face, and the whole idea is to guess who the people are.
Right.
The cool thing about this new book, it's all the same musicians in the same order, except you can see their face. So the new book actually becomes a key to the original. So we're unmasking the musicians.
So it's like the answer key in those books when we were in high school, when you would go to the back pages, it's like the answer key to the exam, basically.
Yeah, something like that. Right. Just continues the story.
Man, I love it. And of course, people can pre-order this at Michael Weintrob, Weintrob.com. Lots of great packages there, deluxe editions and the whole 9 yards. And yeah, man. So stoked for it, Michael. But Michael, let me first ask you about the original book, INSTRUMENTHEAD, for a second.
Right.
Because that book was a smash hit. I mean, it won publishing awards. It spawned, renowned worldwide art exhibits, where people, interacted around the country, around the world. Were you surprised, Michael, by the success of that book? Be honest. I'm sure you knew it was good, but it was a smash hit.
Intention is everything. And I, had good intention, and I really put my best foot forward. And, I guess everything you get success when you put the effort into it. And I've put a lot of effort into it. So I'm really pleased with what has happened thus far, and I'm ready for the second chapter.
Yeah. Totally. And this sequel book, this companion book, you've talked about this before, but this was a popular request, right? People would come up to you and be like, hey man, love the book. Wouldn't it be great if we had another one with the faces, right?
Right. I mean, they wish they could see their faces. And I was going to, in 2019, I was going to crowdfund it and launch it at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, where I had an 11-day pop-up show scheduled where I'd booked 35 bands to perform. And obviously COVID hit and everything stopped.
Right.
So I had to put that on hold. And then last March, about a year ago, we filmed 20 concerts in 10 days in my studio. And we released these concerts as a vehicle for the crowdfunding campaign. So when we went live last summer with the crowdfund, we had 5 concerts a week for 4 weeks. And that were a vehicle for the crowdfund. So all these musicians came here and they performed. You know, we turned my studio into a TV studio during the pandemic to give musicians a place to create. And we called it INSTRUMENTHEAD Live. And, you know, we filmed over 70 concerts in here, man. It was really fun. It was really amazing. It was kind of like the shrimp boat in Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
You know, no one had a place to play. So, you know, that was really exciting. So then instead of doing the show in New Orleans like we had done, we did the virtual thing, and I raised the money on crowdfunding. I went to Italy 3 months later, and the books should be showing up at my doorstep in about a week.
Unbelievable. Man, what a great story, Michael. I mean, at the end of the day, and that's one of the things, like you're an amazing artist, an amazing photographer, but man, like what a resilient soul you are. Like that's one of the takeaways here, right? Like creating, you know, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, the way you've created magic out of adversity. That's pretty dope, man.
Well, when the race slows down, you get a chance to catch up, you know?
Exactly. See, man, that's why we love you, Michael. But and you mentioned New Orleans, and you know, one of the things you do is you're giving back with this book to the New Orleans Musicians Clinic.
That's
and right. Just to encourage people, and we'll put the link up, but like every purchase that people make, $3 are going to this foundation. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this helps, you know, the mental health of artists and all kinds of like health for artists.
Oh yeah, well, the New Orleans Musicians Clinic, they have an actual clinic, you know, a doctor's office that helps these musicians in New Orleans. So, you know, I've befriended many of these musicians who are sidemen, classic sidemen over the years. People like Idris Muhammad, who played drums on Chain Gang with Sam Cooke, and people like that, you know, who said they didn't want to die on the bandstand, and you know they couldn't even afford healthcare to eat later in their life, even if they've, you know, been recorded on 300 to 500 records. So people like the New Orleans Musicians Clinic actually do what they say they're going to do with the money, and they help, and they're an integral part of the community down there, and they've been a big help to me over the years. Actually, Bethany Boltman, who's the head of the clinic, wrote the foreword to the new book, which is amazing. And Victor Wooten wrote the quote on the back of the book, which is really exciting.
Nice. No, we're very excited about the book, and I want to show you a few photos in a second, and like maybe we'll walk through like iconic photos. But let me ask you about your entrepreneurship, because you're also an entrepreneur, Michael. Because you know you started Magnet Bound Press. You basically, and for my audience that doesn't know the backstory of the original Instrument Head, basically you got jerked around, like, you know, by press companies, like, you know, the normal thing, much like labels, and you decided to like create your own publishing arm, right? Like you took it by the balls, right?
That's right, pretty much. I lived in this building in New York that was kind of like the Chelsea Hotel of modern times, and there were photographers and filmmakers and artists and actors and painters and all types of people operating in art on the highest level, living in this building, in this community. And I met a guy named Diego Orlando from Italy who worked with David Allen Harvey, who's a famous Magnum photographer. And he was the editor for Burn Magazine, which is a famous photojournalist blog. And he lives in Italy, and he has relationships with these Italian printers. And I decided to go with him. So this book is a true monograph. They're both monographs. They're real art books. They're not like rock and roll cookbooks, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And Michael,
so I made it myself, you know, and I just decided that I was going to do it myself, and I was going to build an audience, and that's what I did.
Man, exactly. That's how you got to do it. I love it. I love it. And Michael, you mentioned New York. I mean, you've been all over the world. Like, I need you to confirm this for me, because you're a true music, like you get it. Like I trust your opinion. Like, don't you think that like Nashville right now in 2022, I mean, coming from Miami, like for me, I'm still in love with like the city, in the sense that it seems like, you know, I just, there's magic every night in this city. Like, don't you think that this is like a magical like chapter in music history? Like, I feel like people are gonna talk about Nashville like they talk about the West Village in the 60s. I don't know. Am I off base here?
No, I think you're right. I mean, it's happening here. Like, I think this is one of the few places in America where the business of music is actually happening here. People are writing songs. You know, when you ask a musician, you go up to a musician and say, what do you do? They say, I'm a songwriter. That's what a lot of people in Nashville say. It's not the same in New York City where, you know, sidemen, jazz guys, you know, in Nashville, the business of music is happening here. And people from major cities like yourself and me are moving here and creating the vibe, you know, and I'm really blessed to be here. I'm in East Nashville. I've got this studio right in the heart of it, which I'd love to invite you to come by and visit sometime. Absolutely. And I'm just really thankful to be in the community. And, you know, I've had my studio for 6 years now, and I'm ready to launch this book. And April 25th is going to be our big show at the Exit Inn.
At the historic Exit Inn, man. What, that's going to be a night. Unbelievable.
It's going to be a night, man. We got Victor Wooten and friends performing, then an Allman Brothers Band tribute with Levin and Audley Freed and Luther and Lamar from the North Mississippi All-Stars and Jimbo and Chad from Jason Isbell's band and hopefully Maggie Rose. So it's going to have a great night of music. And we'll be live streaming on volume.com.
Oh, cool. Cool. That's great, Michael. Michael, let me ask you about you as a music fan. Like, where did the love affair for you as a music guy start? Like, I'm sure you were like a kid.
Yeah, I was a kid. And my sister used to tell me I listened to so much music because I didn't want to hear what was going on inside my head. But maybe that's what was going on inside my head. And I don't know. I went to summer camp as a kid and we listened to the Grateful Dead. And I grew up in, you know, Alabama and listened to bands like Widespread Panic and Fish. Nice. I came up in that kind of jam band scene. And I always just loved music. I wanted to be in the music industry. I actually studied public relations in college and wanted to be a publicist. And then I ended up just taking photographs and people told me I was really good at it. And I was never really good at anything. And I thought, well, that's what I'm going to do. And now that's what I want to be. And that's what I want to do. And, you know, 25, 26 years later, I'm still doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have this way in your photographs of like just making artists and a few of them like are friends. So I can attest to this. Like you make them really feel their true comfortable selves in a photo. Like normally it takes people like a long time to do this, you know, has looking through the eyes of some of these people, Michael, you know, ever revealed something to you about a person that you had not seen by looking like, you know, through your own eyes, you know what I mean? Through the camera, basically.
Sure. Well, people get really nervous to have their photographs taken, and they're musicians and not models. So if I get them to perform, you know, I think I just try to make people feel comfortable. Photo shoots usually suck the energy of their subjects. I tend to give a lot of energy in my photo shoots. So people have told me they leave kind of high.
I think that.
I'm giving an exchange. And I'm confident about what I can do in the space where I do it. You know, I don't claim to be able to do everything well, but there are a few things that I know how to do really well that are second nature to me. Kind of like these musicians have their instruments, which are an extension of their self. The camera is also an extension for me. So I try to capture them in the studio. And I was always a live music photographer for many years. And so when you're in the field, you're capturing it. When you're in the studio, you're creating it. But by having the ability to capture what you're creating in the studio, that's where both of the skill sets come into play.
Yeah, 100%, Michael. And before I show you a few of your photos to talk about them, like, you know, I was obviously like Taylor Hawkins is on our mind, late drummer of the Foo Fighters. Has there ever been like a subject? Did you get a chance to photograph Taylor, Michael?
I photographed him at the VH1 Rock Honors Awards in Las Vegas many years ago. And I have to go and try to find the photos on my drive so I can post a photo of him. But yeah, I've seen the Foo Fighters a few times over the years. I only photographed them the one time when they played in Vegas with Kiss at the VH1 Rock Honors Awards.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anybody in your list? You know, you photographed the who's who of music royalty in a variety of genres, but is there anyone that maybe like escaped you? Maybe they passed, or maybe something and you're like, man, that one.
Well, you know, I photographed Dr. John many times over the years, and he was a friend of mine, and he was going to come and do the instrument head, but that never worked out. And that was a real bummer for me. But, you know, it's not about, I used to worry about who I didn't have. Yeah. And now I realize I'm just thankful for who I have gotten to share space with. And for me,
right.
I figure if I have this studio and I'm doing good work, and I'm just like doing my thing, eventually the universe will bring the people to me who are supposed to be in my orbit, you know?
Yeah. 100%, Michael.
It's like Billy Gibbons and Bonnie Raitt and Slash from Guns N' Roses, Rick Allen from Def Leppard. These are all guys that I would love to shoot the instrument head for, you know? But it's just great who I do have. So
yeah, man.
You know, I'm thankful for that. And I feel very blessed.
100%. Well said, Michael. All right, let me share my screen for a second. I want to show you a few photos. My good pal, Aaron Lee Taschan, Nashville resident, guitar virtuoso, but just a wonderful, wonderful photo here. What's happening here, Michael?
Well, you know, I originally shot Aaron Lee. You know, we lived in New York at the same time, and he had a band called the Madison Square Gardeners, and I photographed him in his New York era outfit. But when he came to Nashville, he started having all the success wearing this, you know, wild jacket on the cover of one of his records, which was kind of a breakout solo record for him. So I told him, I'd love for you to come back with the acoustic guitar and the jacket. And, you know, and he's pointing on his guitar with a phrase that means something dear to him. So, you know, it's like trying to tell his story, but you can look at this photograph and actually feel the image. And they always say that portraits are all about the eyes, but I believe that by photographing people with their possessions and their things, even if you can't see the eyes, you can still feel the people.
Totally. And, you know, I think you get a little bit of like his quirkiness. He's in a good way. He's like an intellectual, quirky guy. And like, he completely got it here. It's unbelievable. Great job, man. Yeah, dude. All right. Let's check out another one. Let's see. Let's check out this one. Okay. This one, we're not friends with him or anything, but we've seen him live a bunch of times and we love this one. Andy Frasco. What can you tell us here?
So this is basically, you know, he always wears the Lakers jersey. He always wears Lakers stuff. And this is his modified organ case that he would take on the road with him with a confetti shooter in it. So, you know, it's a big trouble to try to figure out how to hang an organ, but we figured out how to do it. And, you know, I think this really tells his story because in this photograph, you see the confetti, you know, he brings the party, you know, Andy Frasco. So, you know, I think in this image, it kind of tells his story, you know, and anyone that knows who he is will know that that's him. You know, this is a one-of-a-kind piece that he has here.
This is a one-of-a-kind photo. Let's see one more.
And I can actually show you the image in the book of Andy, of the picture of him that will be in the new book that will go with that photo. Let's see here. Hold on one moment. Trying to find it here. So, right. So this is the picture of Andy.
Sorry about that. Let's see that. Oh my God, look at that beautiful photo. Exactly. That's Andy Frasco.
So now this photo goes with that photo. So for those of you who wish you could see what he looks like, you can check out the Instrument Head Revealed book and you can find out.
Unbelievable. And then this one is I think it's my favorite. I mean, this is, I think, the pphoto when I fell in love with you, just like as a music fan, Michael. I mean, Bootsy Collins, I remember seeing this one at some exhibit or I don't know, I forgot where I saw it the first time, but it struck me, man. So this is like a personal that I had to like share with you. Like, what can you tell us about this masterpiece?
Well, I went to Cincinnati to photograph Bootsy. And, you know, he had this band called Bootsy's Rubber Band. So on the way to the studio, I went to Staples and I bought like 5 packs of rubber bands. And I figured I'm going to shoot this guy holding all these rubber bands. And when I got there, I said, you know, I have all these rubber bands. And he just looked at me. I go, has anyone ever shot you with these rubber bands before? And he said, no. But it made so much sense to me because it was Bootsy's Rubber Band. And on the cover of the new book is actually the reveal where you have Bootsy with the rubber bands kind of coming out of the rubber band.
So good.
You know, it has his star base, it has his glasses. This is the photograph that kind of took me up to the next level of being able to get in the room with more known musicians because they said, well, if Bootsy did it, I'll do it too. And, you know, and the crazy thing about this photograph is 3 days before, I had all my camera gear stolen at the Gathering of the Vibes Music Festival in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Wow.
So I actually went to Cincinnati and used the camera of the guys whose studio I was renting. So this was actually shot on a Canon camera when 99% of my photographs were all shot on Nikon, which is pretty funny.
That is incredible. Yeah, there you go. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Michael, man, I mean, look, I could talk to you for 17 hours. You know what I mean? All I can tell you, man, is like, we are just thrilled that you were here. First of all, and thank you, because what you're doing is a very important thing for music history, man. You are leaving a legacy here, you know? You're leaving something tangible for future generations, Michael. And, you know, we're honored that we got to connect. And, man, thank you so much for your time.
Man, thank you for your time. And I was just so cool for everyone to know that we ran into each other at the Bluegrass Underground last weekend.
It's completely random, you know. I mean, friends of our show, like, you know, my audience, we know Britt Taylor and Adam Chaffins were performing at a show here locally, and you were just there, and I was like, Michael freaking Weintrob, double take. It was great.
But I don't know if we've ever met in person before, right?
Not in person. A bunch of people always said, "Did you meet Michael Weintrob yet around town?" But never. No, it was meant to happen, man.
That's so cool, man. And like, thank you for what you do. You know, we all eat from the same table, and we have to help each other. And, you know, we're all kind of part of this musical ecosystem here. And, you know, I'm thankful for your energy that you spend and your passion. And I'm really thankful for that. So
I appreciate that, Michael. And of course, you know, just to remind people, you know, your amazing book is coming out. It's coming out, INSTRUMENTHEAD REVEALED, the sequel to INSTRUMENTHEAD from 2017, and people can get it at michaelweintrob.com. And of course, part of it goes to, you know, foundations, and you're going to have a great coffee table book that is going to be around for generations to come. So thank you so much, Michael.
Yeah, thank you. And also, if you want to go to the Exodins show on April the 25th, you can get tickets on the Exodins website. They're only $20. It's going to be awesome. It's on a Monday night. And if going to my name for the website is too difficult, just go to instrumenthead.com, and that will take you to the page where the books live.
There you go. Michael, have a great day, man.
Peace. Thank you, man.